Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Weekly Emmy Talk, a very special episode because today the Emmy nominations for the 2022 Primetime Emmys finally came out, and we are here to discuss them. I am here with Anthony to discuss them.
Hello, everyone. It's funny. I think that for people who follow this was a very surprising morning. Though it's funny that it's surprising given it's like the same couple of shows in all the categories. So
Hmm.
there's a monotony to the nominees, but there's also a lot of surprise through their monotonous.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Getting right into it, starting off with the comedy series. I was very, oh, sorry. I was very happy with this one when they announced it because this is the only category, at least of the series, where I went 8 for 8. Um, I did switch in Curb Your Enthusiasm at the last minute because I found out that that show hasn't missed being nominated ever. Um,
Even
so
during its original run. Wow. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It had a big gap, but it still hasn't missed
Yeah.
being nominated. So that was helpful. But yeah, here are the nominees. We got Hacks, we got Ted Lasso, we got Barry, Abbott Elementary, Only Murders in the Building, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, What We Do in the Shadows, and Curb Your Enthusiasm. I think the snubs being what Reservation Dogs, Ghosts, Blackish, which completely underperformed in its final season. Lots of final seasons underperforming today. I still think
Lots
Hacks
of
is going to
final
win.
seasons on network television
That
underperformed.
is true. Not so much on the streaming. Streaming is taking over. It is.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and this I believe was this the first time Blackish missed Best Outstanding Comedy
I
Series?
don't know. Possibly.
I'll do a fact check on that. But yeah, I think this paints a picture of I think this whole day paints a picture of the landscape that we're in. The entertainment industry has delved directly into streaming, and I think we're seeing the voting body respond to that. I think it's affecting the way that we enjoy these shows. And I think a lot of people enjoy the binge model. They enjoy watching
Mhm.
shows on streamers. And I also think it's a little unfair because I think streamers, due to their form, are able, I think, to craft maybe This Is Us is a different one because that show was always like that show was ahead of the pack back when it opened because of how like compelling and the drama and the season long arcs. But I feel like with the
Mhm.
comedy shows, like you really can't compare an average weekly sitcom to some
Yeah.
of the work that Ted Lasso is doing. Like it's as we've talked about in past episodes, it's melding the genres to such a degree that you really can't do on network television.
Mhm.
And I think we're just seeing a lot of these shows fall because of that. And yeah, I can understand. I think there are a lot of shows that underperform, but I also think, Blackish, like it's not doing anything new in its eighth and
No.
final season. The only nomination, the only reason to nominate it would to honor it for its full run. But if we've honored every other step, like what's the point when we can honor something fresh, like Only Murders in the Building, which is doing, I think, something new and exciting. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
definitely surprising. What's your take on this category?
I was very happy with it, especially since I got everything right. But Abbott Elementary, I think, as we saw the whole morning, I think overperformed, which I suspected might happen. As kind of the sole network show here, I do think it is very beloved. I would probably have it at 3 right now, ranking wise. I think it has a better chance than Barry because Barry did underperform. Um, and Barry's, I just don't know how many people are going to see it as a comedy this past season because it got very dark. But
We
yeah,
have talked about whether that will affect them. Is like, are they when they're picking comedy, will they consider like the category fraud?
yeah,
Yeah, because it was funny with like when I remember when Black Panther was starting its campaign run, we were like, well, is it going in comedy or musical at the Golden Globes or
yeah,
drama?
yeah.
So it's interesting. I think that you don't get as much pushback if you push for drama. Um,
Mhm.
but even like shows like Orange is the New Black would swap around from year to year. So I wonder if Barry would consider moving to drama for its next season,
Yeah.
especially because with Bill Hader's directorial hand with all the episodes, if it seems that that's the direction it's going in, which is, it's fine if it
Hmm.
transitions.
And spoiler alert, he's going to prison. So I imagine there's some darkness in that. So
Oh, yes.
um,
But
I would still say Hacks is my predicted winner, but Ted Lasso did very good. It did better than expected. So that's the number
yeah,
two.
I'm still gonna go on Ted Lasso. What I was looking for was supporting actor in a comedy series. If it could
Yeah.
pull out
Hacks
three
didn't
in
get
that
any.
category, then I felt like okay, it's still as strong as ever. And I think like myself, and I think I do think there's a lot of people who enjoyed season two maybe even better than season one. And I think this
Yeah,
nomination pool maybe shows that. So yeah, I was very happy for Ted Lasso, very happy for Only Murders in the Building, that we'll talk about.
yeah.
It's very unfortunate that Selena Gomez did not also
This
get
is
in.
her only nomination here,
Yeah,
producer.
we do have an issue with subdued performances not usually getting in. Her first season is
Especially
definitely more
comedies, yeah.
subdued. Especially up against, she's definitely the foil for the two Martins.
She's the
Um,
straight man, yeah.
but she's such an invaluable part of that show that I was a little disappointed in that. But I am happy that she's nominated here because all three of them are executive producers on the show. And then, yeah, I think what this is also another thing that we're seeing is if you get in the door at any point during your run, you stay in the door. Because like
Hmm.
Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Curb Your Enthusiasm, as you brought up, and then some of the dramas, if you get in the door, there's no reason to kick you out. And I think that's why it's very rare for an Only Murders to just pop
Yeah.
in Abbott Elementary. Though I would be interested if a lot of people watched Abbott Elementary on Hulu as kind of like
Probably.
back when Hulu started and their whole business model was watch. It's like on demand, watch it the next day. I wonder if people are watching it on Hulu or getting screeners over watching it on ABC because it is an outlier, and it seems that I don't know. I did feel that Abbott Elementary would maybe eat into a lot of the Blackish votership because it's also an ABC Black-led sitcom, and I feel
Yeah.
like the people who are going to support Blackish just I think transition to a fresher show.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Next category, comedy actress, which I was a little surprised with some things here. We got Jean Smart for Hacks. We got Rachel Brosnahan for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. We got Quinta Brunson for Abbott Elementary. Issa Rae for Insecure. I think oh, Siri keeps interrupting me. Sorry. I think those were all expected. But then the surprises for me were Kelly Cuoco for The Flight Attendant and Elle Fanning for The Great. Um, I didn't personally expect that. I don't think it really matters because Gene Smart is winning no matter what. But Kaylee Cuoco getting in for the flight attendant, even though the second season had like no buzz and all the buzz that was pretty disappointing, is surprising, I would say. But I guess, like you said, if it's that thing, if once you get in, then they're gonna keep putting you in there.
Yeah, and I
Then
also think because people really respect her in that role, they
yeah,
respect that she kind of willed it for herself, and there's a lot of respect for her.
yeah,
And still, I think that despite maybe the more not as passionate response for season two, I don't think any of that was directed toward her performance.
no,
I think she
no,
stands alone from the show, similar to the Killing Eve actresses who also both got in today. So yeah, I mean, I was happy to see her because I really
hmm
like her and I like her in this role. But it is interesting some of the people that she maybe kicked out. Even though
yeah,
I was predicting her in this role, I would look out though for Quinta Brunson. I think that she
she's number
maybe
two.
will
Yeah,
give Jean Smart a run for her money, just because you know the first season was such an electric kind of. We've never seen this type of show before.
yeah.
It's just a wonder, is Hacks gaining momentum or losing it a little bit? We didn't see as
Hmm.
many supporting actor nominations as you mentioned, so I'm
Or
interested to see
actress,
what
yeah.
happens. And I feel like there is a lot of love for Quinta Brunson.
Yeah, there's a ton. I do think she'd either win here, but I do think she's got a good chance in the writing category too,
That's true.
considering she's kind of the mastermind behind the whole show. And I'm also I haven't seen the show, at least the new season, but I'm happy for Elle Fanning for the great just because she was also in that Girl from Plainville show. So she's doing some
Which,
good TV there.
the girl from Plainville, unfortunately, was not featured during the runs of Dopesick or The White Lotus. So it did not get many
Hmm.
nominations because
Nope.
to get in those categories, you had to be in one of those two shows.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those shows just stole it all up. Um, and yeah, I think the main thing here is Selena Gomez missing. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I think
Joke.
she's so important to that show's success, and I
Yeah,
think
she is.
I mean, just the idea of putting her with those two men was so interesting, and then it works so well. Yeah, and she's a huge emotional backbone for this first season. So yeah, I'm
Hmm.
hoping this can be rectified with season two, which I just
I
started
hope
last
so
night,
too.
and I'm thoroughly enjoying her work and everybody's work on. It's such a great show.
It is a very good show, and I think she's just as important as the two guys. So,
Oh, definitely,
and
it's a
yeah,
true trio, equal trio.
yeah. So hopefully they do make up for it. Comedy actor. Only one surprise here, I think. So we got Bill Hader for Barry, Jason Sudeikis, Ted Lasso, Steve Martin, Only Murders in the Building, Martin Short, Only Murders in the Building. Donald Glover still gets in for Atlanta. I think the only acting or any nomination for his show, really. And Nicholas Hoult for The Great, which was the biggest surprise for me. But I guess he was taking Anthony Anderson's spot, which shows Blackish is not doing as good as expected.
Yeah. It seemed that it was the time to end for Blackish. Yeah, Donald Glover getting in for Atlanta. I think this is a show that just was not able to come back after its long hiatus.
Yeah.
I think that because didn't Atlanta start like 2016, 2017?
It started
Like,
a while ago, yeah.
it started a while ago and it only had 2 seasons. So I feel like it's very hard for a show that doesn't have this, like Stranger Things. Yeah, it only had 3 seasons, but that was a unique show that had such like a iconic cultural imprint on us all, and also like the length of episodes meant that we had more of a connection to these characters. I just think Atlanta maybe suffered from it was well loved when it came out, but then time went on, and so there wasn't when you had so much to stream, you were like, oh, Atlanta came back, oh, I'm going to try something else, like one of my new favorites. And so I think Donald Glover was just, we were still respect you, but we didn't watch you. Maybe.
Yeah, especially since this past season, I don't think any of the main actors are in it as much. Apparently, they're like, I don't watch the show, but apparently, they are like appearing much less in the episodes, and they're focusing on like new characters or something. So,
but yeah, I'm happy for both Martins for Murders in the Building.
Yes.
And I still think this is, I mean, a lot of people say Bill Hader, but I still think this is Jason Sudeikis. I think that his work is just, you watch it and not only did he, I think very similar to I think a lot of the respect back in the hate, long before his trial took the Twitter by storm. But I think the same thing that got Johnny Depp an Oscar nomination for Pirates of the Caribbean, for Jack Sparrow, there was just so much like admiration for creating a character and building such a structural foundation around that character that I think it's unmatched by all these other individuals. Again, Bill Hader with Barry,
Bill Hader,
that's close, but
especially since he writes and directs.
Yeah, that too. I think we can honor Bill Hader, I think, with best directing in a comedy series too, as we've been saying.
Yes.
I don't know. I think what Jason Sudeikis did this season, it's a very brave arc because it shows with him and Nate the effects of false humility, and what he was doing in terms of really getting into who Ted was as a character. I just thought was brilliant. So I still think he is the front runner here. And I love this show, and I'm very happy it continues to rake up these nominations.
Yep, only one season to go.
I'm glad though. I'm glad it's they know.
End it while it's good.
End it while it's good. Listen, I think Glee would be much more favorably talked about these days if it ended with season 3. So I'm glad they know what they have, and also Ted Lasso is very different. It's not a sitcom, so they have a story to tell, and it seems that they're reaching that conclusion, and power to them.
Yeah, I think I'm still gonna stick with Bill Hader, but I'm very tempted to switch to Jason Sudeikis, just because Bill Hader's 2 for 2. Jason Sudeikis is 1 for 1. So
it's true. But I mean, let's see. This is a much longer period of time between nominations and the show, so things can happen. There's a lot that can ebb and flow. But I definitely think it's the two of them. Unfortunately, I think Steve Martin and Martin Short cancel each other out, even though they're both doing tremendous work on that show. And good for Nicholas Hoult. I believe this was his first nomination.
I believe so. Yeah, he's really good in that show too. So very deserving. Comedy supporting actress, we got Hannah Waddingham, Ted Lasso, Hannah Einbinder, Hacks, Alex Bornstein, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Juno Temple, Ted Lasso, Janelle James, Abbott Elementary, Kate McKinnon, Saturday Night Live, Cheryl Lee Ralph, Abbott Elementary, and Sarah Niles for Ted Lasso. So a few surprises here. I would say Cheryl Lee Ralph and Sarah Niles, especially Sarah Niles. I just didn't see that coming at all, personally. Still deserving. But the main thing here that I'm going to harp on is freaking Sarah Goldberg from Barry is honestly win-worthy in this category. Just, I think her work is more dramatic this season, so that might change. Like, it's not per se a comedic performance, but I think what she did was really, really good. And I really wish, I understand if she didn't win, but I think she at least deserved a nomination. So I found that very, very sad.
Yeah, I think when you're in the shadow of Hader and Henry Winkler, maybe it's hard for like a not as well known actor to step out of that shadow. But
She's been
uh,
nominated before though for the show, which is crazy.
then that's surprising. That
And she had her own storyline this season. It was upsetting.
all right, then maybe that's a potential that before she was always in the scenes with the other actors, but now that she had her own storyline, maybe that it didn't click as well for the Emmy
Maybe.
at large. I have no idea. I mean, it is surprising. That she's not in here, though I am very happy, very happy. One of my favorite nominations of the whole morning was Sarah Niles. I thought what she did
Hmm.
was so incredible, such a different energy to that show that once you saw it, it was just so vital. I thought she was brilliant. I was so happy to see her, as of course, I'm happy to see Juno Temple and Hannah Waddingham, who are two who I think are going to, the next season two, are going to go hand in hand.
Hmm.
Kate McKinnon, of course, a very nostalgic but well-deserved nomination for SNL for her final season. See, this is somebody who's benefiting from a final season
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
and yeah, I think this is again a battle of the Hannahs,
it
but
is.
I'm gonna go Waddingham because I think that because I feel like season two, like I feel like a lot of people's favorite episode is her father's funeral episode. Like that
Yeah,
was one of the
yeah.
most talked about, most loved episodes. They capture what death is and what death means for the living so well. And that one monologue she gives, it's just it's all you need. It's like
Hmm.
perfect, beautiful stuff. And she's also funny. She's hilarious, and she's such a unique character. I love her. I can't wait to see what else she does. She gave one of my favorite Emmy speeches of all time
Hmm.
last time she won. So I'm all on the Waddingham train.
Yeah, I think I have switched over to the Waddingham train just because I expected Hacks to do a little better this morning. I was expecting at least one more nomination here. I was expecting Mick Stalter to be nominated. I was expecting Paul W. Downs to be nominated. So I think it didn't quite overperform like I expected. And that one episode for Hannah Waddingham is very good. I'm not sure what episode you would submit for Hannah Einbinder. I don't think she has one as focused of a like performance episode as Hannah Waddingham has there.
Yeah.
But it's definitely between those two. I think everyone else
Well,
is
because you could argue that Waddingham should be in lead. I think
yeah. I
Einbender
mean,
is
you
a
could
true
argue that for
supporting.
Einbinder too.
Yeah, but I don't know.
She's
Maybe
just as much there as Jean Smart, I think.
that is true, but I think that maybe says something about the performance that Waddingham and Einbinder maybe have the same amount of screen time, but Waddingham maybe commands the screen more. I know it's harder
Yeah.
with Einbender because her role, like her and Jean Smart are kind of playing two very snippy, smart female characters, where Ted
Mhm.
Lasso and Rebecca Welton are so different characters. So maybe that's why they command the screen in different ways. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just, whenever I see Waddingham, I'm just instantly attracted to her. When I see Einbender, I'm like, wow, she's such a support for Jean Smart. Which I
Yeah.
think the whole show is, and I think that's why it's not maybe getting as many acting nominees. I think everybody's supporting Jean Smart, which is why she's winning, and that's why they're not getting the same level of
Yeah.
attention for it. Paul W. Downs, I think, he gets his support in the creative side, so that's
Yeah, he
why
does. He's already won there.
yeah. And then Meg Stalter, I just think was too like unknown.
Hmm.
So I'm very happy. We'll get into guest actress maybe, or I can touch on it now in case we don't. I was very
Hmm.
happy to see Laurie Metcalf. I was very happy to
As
see
Weed.
yes, as Weed. I was very happy to see the actress who plays Hannah Einbender's mother get a
Hmm.
nomination. And then I was very happy to see Harriet Sampson Harris, who just blew me
Yes.
away in Licorice Pizza in her one scene there, and I think did a remarkable job. That was one of my favorite nominations of the morning as well.
Yeah, she wasn't expected to get in, but I was very happy that she did get in. She was probably my favorite of the guest actresses on Hacks. Jane Addams as Hannah's
Yes.
mother was also very good, but she only has that one episode.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Which for guest actress, that's all you should have if you're
No,
in
yeah.
one.
Yeah. 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 I just thought what Samson did was a little more different. I think
Oh
we've already
yeah,
seen that from Jane Addams in the past season.
yeah. I mean, Laurie Metcalf, I thought was just a bolt
Yes,
of
that's true.
lightning in her
Yeah.
episodes. I do think that one is that one going? Do we think to Harriet Walter for Ted Lasso potentially?
Probably, if I were to
Yeah.
guess. Either her or I mean, I think because she's like the sole Ted Lasso nominee there, right? Because I think the Hacks guest actresses might split votes between each other.
Potentially, yeah, that could be the case. I'm interested with Hacks because I feel like this season, I feel like this show overall really gets into the industry, and it's like,
Yeah.
they'll mention just Kevin's going another way, like that's that type of language when talking about like people like Kevin Feige, like it's so
Mhm.
industry focused that I'm surprised it doesn't get as much attention. Maybe it's like Ted Lasso is a different environment, so you don't get as many. Like it could be the Marriage Story thing where you think that because it's so relatable to their experiences that they're going to give it nominations, but instead it reminds them too much of their life, or they
Mhm.
think it's contradictory to that, so it doesn't perform at the same level. Or we could just be saying, listen, Hacks had a really great morning. It's just Ted Lasso is doing extraordinarily well.
Yeah.
Because like Barry too, like Barry didn't get Sarah Goldberg. I don't think that's a necessary. I don't think that means it's underperforming. I think this more speaks to the power of Ted Lasso than the underperformance of these other shows.
That's true. Very true. Supporting actor, speaking of which, Brett Goldstein for Ted Lasso, Henry Winkler for Barry, Tony Shalhoub, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Toheeb Jimo for Ted Lasso, Anthony Carrigan for Barry, Tyler James Williams for Abbott Elementary, Nick Mohammed for Ted Lasso, and Bone Yang for Saturday Night Live. Another situation here where Ted Lasso, I think, gets one more actor in the supporting category than expected with Toheeb Jimo. Um, and also, I enjoyed seeing Tyler James Williams being nominated for Abbott Elementary, just because I haven't seen Abbott Elementary yet. I'm planning to watch it, but I've seen some clips of him on the show, and just as an actor in general, I think he does very good comedic work. Also happy for Toheeb Jimo. I'm happy that these actors who probably didn't even expect to ever be nominated. I never even saw them on the Gold Derby odds, so it didn't seem like they were super likely. So I'm happy that they're getting their time in the sun instead of someone from SNL, because I think the other alternate would be Kenan Thompson.
Well,
So
see that's the thing, and in all respect to Keenan, who's had such a wonderful career on SNL and really has been an anchor for that show for
yeah,
what, like 22 decades? Like it's
a
insane.
while. Yeah.
A while. Because I remember seeing him. I love the Debbie Downer clip when they all break when Lindsay Lohan is
Hmm.
hosting for the
Yes.
Disneyland Disney World sketch, and he was there, and I was like, oh my god. He's a fun time capsule for the show.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, listen, we can have a conversation about the fact that it seems that with all of these categories, especially with limited series or TV movie, they seem to pick a show. They have a couple of shows that they watch, and that's really all that they want to nominate. We've seen
Yeah.
in past years, The Crown sweeps, Schitt's Creek sweeps, Ted Lasso gets 4 of its 7. What was it? The show, the Mayor of Easttown does extraordinarily well in the
Oh
acting
yes.
categories. So like, I do think this is it's hard because I do think like people like Toheeb Jimo, who never would have been considered, I feel like in past, or like wasn't even considered as a nominee, maybe even this year. Like
No, not
we
really.
weren't talking about his name. I think it's fantastic because I think that he's now an Emmy nominated actor and can leave Ted
Hmm.
Lasso with that credibility that he deserves. Nick Mohammed, the same thing. I thought he did a fantastic job at a very hard arc, especially a comedy series to pull off. It didn't feel out of place, and I think that shows. It's these small actors that are doing such big roles that I'm glad they're getting nominated. Are there a lot of Ted Lasso people? Yes. Does it show that maybe we need to expand a little bit more? Potentially, because I do think there's a lot of great work. But I look at
Hmm.
this list and I'm like, yeah, they all deserved it. I'm very happy, even though there's no question. I think this is going to Brett Goldstein.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is one I've never really doubted in terms of who a Ted Lasso previous winner who's going to win. He's I think with Barry there could be some vote splitting. I think Henry Winkler is the more focused performance this season, though. I think he gets a lot more to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't even think with most situations like this, with this many nominations for Ted Lasso, you'd think there'd be vote splitting. But he's just like the clear front runner.
Yeah, I
Um,
think it's the oh, what was it? A couple of years ago. It's the clear like Daniel Kaluuya situation where like even though
yeah,
his co-star Lakeith Stanfield was also nominated in Best Supporting Actor, I will never let this go. They can't both be supporting. They're both title
Dominique
characters.
Fishback
One of
was
them has to be a
lead.
lead. Yeah. I think this is a Daniel Kaluuya situation where it's so clear that one of them is
Yeah.
running away with it. And that's Brett Goldstein. Because I think again, Brett Goldstein is the expected. The other two were not like they were surprises. When you're a surprise, I think it's very rarely that then you can build that surprise into a win. I think Zendaya for Euphoria season 1 is one of the true rare
Hmm.
people who got a surprise nomination, and then that sustained during the voting period for the win.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. Yeah, so clearly Brett Goldstein there. Now into comedy directing. Uh, Barry, I don't need to say all the episode title names. That might take too long. So Barry got a nomination. Only Murders in the Building got 2 nominations. Hacks got a nomination. Ted Lasso got a nomination. Atlanta got a nomination, and the Miss Pat Show, which I haven't heard of, got a nomination. Um, I think Barry's going to win here, just because I think directing wise, that is easily, I think, the strongest in my opinion. I mean, I don't know if you've seen that episode, but the shot of
Well,
him
I just
just
think when it comes to the picking the winners, not the nominees, but when it comes
yeah,
to the winners, they do spread the love, and so I think that we'll see that happen here.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think Barry is a because again, it's still a name. Like when Jason Bateman won for Ozark, he's still a name. I think that
Hmm.
helps. So yeah, I think that that's a very possible thing, and he's doing. I mean, obviously HBO has trusted in that they're giving him all of season 4. So
Yes, yes, yeah.
yeah, what a great second lap like life on his career after SNL.
Yeah, yeah, he's doing very well. Also got into the guest actor in a comedy here for Curb Your Enthusiasm. Um, Next up, comedy writing. We got Hacks, we got Abbott Elementary, Only Murders in the Building, Ted Lasso, 2 for Barry, and 2 for What We Do in the Shadows. I think it's clearly between Abbott Elementary and Hacks, I would say here. Maybe Ted Lasso. But I would right now actually say Abbott Elementary, because I think they're going to want to honor it somewhere, and I feel like this is its best place to be honored.
I
Kind
agree.
of, kind of like I May Destroy You last season. They wanted to honor
Yeah.
Michaela Cole, and that was the best place to do it. Now moving on to limited series, where the nominations were The White Lotus, Dopesick, Pam and Tommy, The Dropout, and Inventing Anna, which just shocked me. I didn't think that was going to get any nominations, but Inventing Anna got in
Our
over.
Shonda Rhimes, my man.
I know. Got in over Maid, got in over The Staircase, Under the Banner of Heaven, Station 11, 1883, Gaslit. I thought all of those were stronger than that show.
Well, let's talk about this because I think the reason that inventing Anna, which one is
One or the other.
one or the other, IA and Pam and Tommy got in there is they just trended more. They were talked
Yeah.
about more. Pam and Tommy was a very controversial show, and controversy brews people talking about it, inventing on it the same way. And I think that's why, because I think with these limited series, you've really got to either be on HBO, have a famous star in it, and hopefully you're a famous star and on HBO. Then you're golden.
Yeah, then, yeah.
As we saw with The White Lotus.
Yeah, The
But
White Lotus, yeah.
which is completely deserving. I just think it's hilarious.
Very
Like,
deserving.
I thought Game of Thrones getting 4 actors in one category was
Yeah.
crazy, and now we have 5, which we'll get to. But yeah, I just think that's why those 2 shows got in there more because they weren't critically as well received as others, but they were just talked about more. And I think when it came down to, I feel like people when they vote best drama series, I mean that's the last one. That's definitely like the highest achievement, and then comedy. I feel like this one is. It always feels like they're trying to fill the category with whatever they feel like.
I feel like it's getting stronger in the past few years, though. Like I feel like they might need to expand it so it's to 8 at like the other categories.
Maybe,
Like,
but at the same time, I feel like this type of category always felt like they did this so that they could honor these shows without getting them shunted out of best drama series
because they don't have a
we've
chance
seen-
there.
We've seen shows jump from limited series to drama series like Big Little Lies.
White
So
Lotus probably will.
yes, exactly. So that's why I think again this whole subsection is always so interesting to me because like some of them are movies, some of them are television limited series, some of them will be back for season 2. It's like the grab bag, it's the junk drawer of the Emmys.
Yeah, it definitely is.
So it's interesting, but I think that's why you saw those 2 shows really show up.
Yeah.
Also, I think Netflix was able to position themselves better than maybe Hulu because Hulu has 3 here.
I know Hulu is this is their category.
Yeah.
But I guess with HBO, The White Lotus was their focus. But I mean, like you said, with HBO combining with a big actor, I mean, you had Colin Firth and Toni Collette in an HBO show, but I guess it didn't go through.
I mean, I don't think.
Did acting wise,
All respect to the Queen Colette. I don't think
got nominated.
she's because she got nominated, but I don't think she's like Kate Winslet
No,
or Nicole Kidman. Like I think
she's
those.
supporting in the show too.
Yeah, exactly. So I think she's nominated for Best
She
Actress.
should be. She's in lead actress, but in the show, she is a supporting character. I mean, she's dead for
So
half of it. Spoiler alert.
yeah. Oh,
The premise of the show.
it's okay. Don't worry. I agree. I think it's a 2 week spoiler ban, and then you're good.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean,
the
the whole premise of the show is that she dies and he's on trial.
isn't it a true story too?
It is, yeah, and there's a
Yeah,
documentary.
so
on it,
that's
so-
it.
Yeah.
I remember like, don't tell me, does Billie Jean King win in Battle of the Sexes? It's history.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Unless somebody says, please don't spoil this for me, then you're an a-hole if you do.
Then you're just.
I remember saying, don't spoil A Star is Born, and then somebody went, that, and then spoiled it. It's like, I very rarely do I think you say the sentence, but you know that, and the person actually did know that. So that's side point. Back to this. So listen, I don't know. I was thinking Dopesick.
I think it's White Lotus.
Dopesick, White Lotus, but this White Lotus love is, I mean, it could be a Game of Thrones situation too. It could be just they love the show, so they're nominating all the actors they can. But I don't know. The White Lotus, great show.
We'll get into it in the acting categories, but I think there's one place where they will definitely honor Dopesick, and I think that might be where the love goes. I think White Lotus is more of an overall thing. I mean, it's just really displayed its strength here. But it's definitely between those two. I think no one else really has a shot.
Also, Hulu might, splitting all their, because I think they're going to put a campaign behind Amanda Seyfried, which we'll get into now. We can. I wonder, HBO, they kind of don't have to do the work. Obviously, they love everybody in it. And I don't think they're positioning necessarily, like the people that they need to campaign for don't need campaigns. But I think Hulu does need to campaign Amanda Seyfried. She's not of that stature. So it's a really fascinating. We can get into this now, a Best Actress in a limited series movie or anthology series.
We've got Amanda Seyfried, The Dropout, Lily James, Pam and Tommy, Margaret Qualley for Maid, Julia Garner, Inventing Anna, Toni Collette for The Staircase, and Sarah Paulson for Impeachment. I didn't expect that. Did you expect? I know you said she was good in it.
I loved her in this. I really think that this is on par, if not exceeds her performance as Marcia Clark. It's been so many years since I've seen it, but I just thought there were so many moments that I was just floored by her. I think she held this whole thing together. I think Beanie Feldstein was good, but just Sarah Paulson was just electric. There's the moment when she watches John Goodman play Linda Tripp on SNL, that the way her face changes. I was so happy she got this nomination. She completely deserves it. But I do think this is going to go to Amanda Seyfried. I think, we were wondering with Mank if that was going to happen for her there. But I think this is now this is an actor who's been working. I mean, she's been working since Mean Girls and stuff like this. And she's, been in Mamma Mia. She's done musicals. She's done Les Mis. She's had such a well-rounded career. And I think she's due for something like this. And she is incredible in The Dropout. She gets the voice.
This is her best work. Yeah. I think this is easily the best work of her career.
Yeah. So I think she's going to get in. I mean, there's no way you nominate the show she is the show in more ways than any of these other shows, except maybe Inventing Anna, but Julia Garner is going to maybe be covered in supporting actress in a drama. Yeah. So I think that's why Seyfried will probably walk away with this. And it'll be good. I'm happy.
I think her number 2 before nominations was Margaret Qualley for Maid, but as we saw, that show was not strong here. So I don't think it's her performance, and I don't think enough people have seen it for her to really compete here. So yeah, I don't really think anyone else can touch Amanda Seyfried. Lily James was really good in Pam and Tommy. Toni Collette is incredible in The Staircase, but I still think she's a supporting actress in that show, so I think that hurts her chances. And the scenes she has to perform.
Hey, listen, we said that about Olivia Colman.
True, very true.
Went on to win for The Favorite, so never doubt a strong lead for a lead category when you're maybe not the lead of the movie. We'll see.
Yeah. Now on to limited actor. We've got Michael Keaton for Dopesick, Andrew Garfield Under the Banner of Heaven, Sebastian Stan, Pam and Tommy, Colin Firth, The Staircase. Oscar Isaac Scenes from a Marriage, and Himish Patel for Station 11. I mean, that was a nice surprise because he is incredible on that show. I'm glad that show got something above the line here because he was really, really good on that show, and he's a really good actor. So I'm very happy for him.
Yeah, I liked
I
him a
wish
lot.
Mackenzie Davis could have gotten it too because she's just also amazing in that show.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm
What
happy.
I mean, Michael Keaton, right? Done. Moving on.
Michael Keaton, yeah, yeah.
Good.
I wish Colin Firth is number two though. I think he's really good.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I
I
mean,
think
some people will. Yeah, I think Oscar Isaac. I'm interested if Oscar Isaac didn't have Scenes from a Marriage, if a Moon Knight campaign would have happened more.
yeah. Well,
For
speaking of
him,
which, Jessica Chastain didn't get in, which
yeah,
kind of surprised me because she's just
especially
one of
because she's just hot off her Oscar win too.
yeah.
I think
I think
that's
she's just as strong as him in that show.
well, that's what's surprising. I wonder if like Moon Knight helped him because I don't see
Maybe.
like if, it doesn't feel like they're that different in terms of like he gets in, she
No.
doesn't. Maybe the other one was harder. I do think that the women had more competition, so that's just maybe what it
Yeah.
was. Maybe she was 7 or 8. But I am interested because I think Loki just didn't benefit from the fact that it was so long ago. That's why it didn't get any
Hmm.
real substantial nominations. And then Moon Knight didn't get here. I do think that we can talk about this with The Boys, of course, isn't a player in the Emmys, and Stranger Things didn't get any of the actors nominated. And I do
Well,
think it's in,
the boys will be next season. It didn't qualify for this
that's
season.
true, but I don't. Was it ever nominated for past season?
It did. Season two got nominated for drama
Okay,
series,
but
but
that was
that was COVID year.
yeah, okay. Because I do wonder, like, with some of these shows, Stranger Things in particular, like if they're just not considered, they're not like I feel like genre. I feel like Game of Thrones is very rare, where that genre show was
Yeah,
able to be taken seriously in
maybe
other
it's HBO.
forms. I think the HBO thing too, because it is interesting that like Stranger Things, like it gets always now consistent. Every season gets a best drama, but like the
Hmm.
actors, like they never get considered for these acting awards, and it's surprising like the categories even within the Emmys when like you thought Game of Thrones broke this mold, that no, Game of Thrones is the outlier. These genre shows are
Yeah,
still on the outskirts. Maybe they get a best drama. Like it feels like this is the
they get a bunch of
Mandalorian.
texts.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So just something interesting because, as you said, like Jessica Chastain doesn't get in, so is Moon Knight helping Oscar Isaac get his nomination, or is it just that the
maybe.
men had less competition?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both.
All
I would
right,
say a little bit of
let's
both.
talk about supporting actress in a
Oh my
limited
God,
or anthology series
this
or
is just
movie.
the White Lotus category. So we've
It should
got
be
Jennifer
called the
Coolidge.
honorary.
It should be. It should be. Jennifer Coolidge for The White Lotus, Alexandra Dario, White Lotus, Caitlin Dever for Dopesick, Connie Britton, White Lotus, Natasha Rothwell for White Lotus, Mare Winningham for Dopesick, and Sydney Sweeney for The White Lotus. Obviously,
Double
two
nominee.
more yeah, double nominee. I think two more White Lotus nominations than expected here. I think Daddario, Coolidge, and Britton were all expected, but
I mean,
um,
I don't
Rothwell
know. I
was an
feel
amazing
like
surprise.
Coolidge was expected. I mean, that was it. I wasn't expecting the rest
Oh,
of these ladies. I don't know.
I expected Daddario and Britton.
Maybe to Dario, but I did not expect Natasha Rothwell or Sweeney or
No,
Britton. But all of them are fabulous. I'm
yeah,
especially excited for Natasha Rothwell because I feel like
yeah,
she most needed
yeah,
this bump
yeah.
for being an Emmy nominated actress, and she's so good in that show. Such a different
She's really
vibe that
good.
she brings to, because she's one of the workers there,
She's one of the only
and she's like
likable
the only,
people in the whole show.
yeah, she's one of the only like morally like acceptable characters, and so she still makes that interesting. I love Natasha
Hmm.
Rothwell. She's the best part of the Sonic movies.
Yes.
She's just really a lot of fun. But I loved all these women, and I think what's great about
Yeah.
it is that I saw the show like last September or last
Wow.
October, and I still like all of these. I can play the FYC scenes in my head.
Hmm.
Like that's how memorable all of these
Yep.
actresses were. So I'm very happy. I think this is Jennifer Coolidge, though. I
I mean, yeah.
think
I
this will
mean,
be
you saw the
hers.
standing ovation she got at last year's Emmys. I mean, people love her, and I think she
They
is.
should have been nominated for that intro. That was one of the
Yeah,
funniest
she should have
intros.
been. She should have.
Yeah. Which
She's overdue for some awards love. I don't believe she's ever won an Emmy. I don't even
I'm
know if she's been
Googling that
nominated before.
right now, exactly, just to be
Um,
more confident.
this is one I think compared to Ted Lasso, this is where vote splitting might be a little more of a big deal, just because there's four other people to compete with, and I don't think she's as strong of a pick as Brett Goldstein would be. Like I think if you're a voter who leans towards more dramatic performances, I think you may go for say a Daddario or a Britton But I
Yeah,
still
but
think she's number
I do
one.
think this is her first nomination, Coolidge. And again, like Amanda Seyfried, more than Amanda Seyfried, she's been working for so long and has
Mhm.
had such a wonderful career. This seems like an Allison Janney type of arc for her. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I just think she's wonderful. Because I do think the other thing is that Jennifer Coolidge's arc, she has Natasha Rothwell, but I feel like it's more singular, where a lot of these
Hmm.
other women are like all working together. So maybe that'll benefit her. I mean, I just think Jennifer Coolidge. This may be one of the rare times when we see people want to see her speech, and so they give
Yeah.
her the win too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but good. I also want to say good for Caitlin Dever. I think she's building such a great
Hmm.
career for herself on television with Unbelievable. I believe she got a nomination for. I think it's great just to see her. She's recovered from Dear Evan Hansen, though she was one of the best parts of that
Yeah.
movie.
Uh,
But yeah, great to see her here.
yeah. Yeah. But I would agree, Jennifer Coolidge to win. Supporting actor, a little more diversity here, just a little outside of White Lotus. But we've got Murray Bartlett for The White Lotus, Peter Sarsgaard for Dopesick, Jake Lacey, White Lotus, Seth Rogen for Pam and Tommy. Yeah, okay. Michael Stuhlbarg for Dopesick, Steve Zahn for White Lotus, and Will Poulter for Dopesick, which was a nice surprise.
For him.
He was,
Good
yeah,
for Maze Runner kid. He's
yeah,
he's he's
upcoming
really
Adam
good.
Warlock.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Very happy to see Jake Lacey and Steve Zahn here. Murray Bartlett
Yeah.
is expected, and I think he probably will win the category as he
Hmm.
deserves. What a great character! What a great role. Stuhlbarg, always great to see him.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Seth
Seth Rogen.
Rogen. Yeah.
I mean, listen, he was fine. The performance was fine. My issues with this is more. I think I've talked about this. If not, you're gonna get a repeat. You're gonna get a rerun. TV. Haha.
Recap.
Recap. Recently on Weekly Emmy Talk. Yeah, it just this whole show and its pursuit to express the problems of not getting consent and the of exploiting people, and in so doing, exploiting Pamela Anderson, who did not want the show to exist, so much so that she's doing her own Netflix documentary so she can tell her story. Like, that alone is wrong. But then what I really had a problem with is that Seth Rogen was an executive producer on this show. He cast himself in as the role of the person who leaked the sex tape.
Hmm.
We start the show with him in the first episode. We were supposed to empathize with him throughout. We're supposed to feel bad for him when other people are pirating his sex tape. I just found this to be a completely uncomfortable performance because it's making us empathize with the very thing that we should be critiquing and criticizing. And he's a name, and I think that's why he got nominated. The performance is fine, but I thought Taylor Schilling was by far the best parts of all of their scenes together. So yeah, this is my least favorite nomination of the day. I
Yeah.
was just really like, I'm fine with Lily James. I'm fine with Sebastian Stan. I thought both of them did really good
Yeah.
work.
Maybe
I
their
don't
best work.
I don't blame the actors for signing on for a show like this. I blame him more because he was an executive producer,
Hmm.
and also he played this role. So, and he kind of
Yeah.
created the role for himself, it seems. So, yeah, not a fan, not a fan.
Especially, I mean, if this was like a barren category with like no other options, maybe. But I mean, Naveen Andrews for The Dropout. I mean, come on, how is he not nominated here? I don't know if you saw the show, but he's Amanda Seyfried is extremely important and like the focus of the show, but he's like right behind her. He's in every episode. He gave an incredible performance. So I guess that just shows that The Dropout was not as strong as expected because William H Macy also missed. So I really
Yeah.
wish he got nominated.
I also think it says something that The Offer could not get anywhere on this list. I do think that
Matthew
had
Good.
a little bit of like a little bit of critical, like there was no consensus on it. Some people really liked it, some people didn't like it at all. But I think Paramount Plus has a long way to go because Yellowstone also did not
Yellowstone.
perform at all to the like where we were expecting it to.
Yeah.
So I think Paramount Plus really needs to, like, the fact that I think you couldn't watch Yellowstone on Paramount isn't that true? Like you couldn't watch it on Paramount Plus. Like
It
they
might be
gotta,
on Peacock. I don't know.
yeah, they I think they gotta strengthen that brand
They
with
do.
that streaming service because right now, like, I it just, you look at this list and you're like, Paramount Plus could have maybe gotten some people in here.
Yeah. There was a lot of
So,
talk about Matthew Good in that show. So,
yeah. Shall
but
we move
yeah.
on to best drama series?
We shall. Best drama series. So our nominations Oh wait, we don't need to really touch on TV movie. So the Survivor will win, I think.
Yeah. Chip and Dale, though, good for them.
Yeah, good for them. Good for them.
And
Um,
John Oliver, congratulations. I can't wait to see you give another speech.
oh my God, yeah, he'll win
I mean,
again.
he does great work. I don't mean to sound
Yeah,
reductive. What he's doing is so important from a journalistic point of view, and also from a comedy point of view. It's a great show. But at this point, it's just so funny. They should just name the award after him.
they should. Uh, but on to better things. Drama series, we got Succession, we got Squid Game, we got Severance, we got Euphoria, we got Ozark, we got Stranger Things, Better Call Saul, and Yellow Jackets. I think the big miss here is Yellowstone, along with This Is Us, which completely missed in its final season. But other than that, pretty much as expected here. I think Succession is still the far and away front runner, in my opinion. I think the only things challenging it are maybe Squid Game. I don't think Stranger Things.
I'd look
Probably
at
just Squid Game.
Severance, I think you might want to look.
I know. I don't want to get my hopes up. That's easily, in my opinion, my favorite on this list. So
I think
Succession
that
would
the
be a
season
close.
two, though. I think Severance got its
Yeah.
foot in the door in a big way, got a massive boot through the Emmy
Mhm.
door. I think season two, if they stick the landing, could come back because a lot of support for Severance was very surprising, and it is now at the top of my list once I finish Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Oh, it's so good.
No,
It is so good.
no.
It's my favorite show of all of these shows here. I loved it.
Yeah,
But yeah, I still think it's Successions.
Euphoria was a surprise though for me.
Me
I was
too.
not
Yeah.
as I felt that season two was very uneven. And at points similar to Pam and Tommy, I felt very exploitative of the real issues that it's talking about. Like I just
Mhm.
felt so. I could get if somebody says that you're supposed to feel uncomfortable, like during the fifth episode when Zendaya's running around and stuff. It just,
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt uncomfortable in a way that it didn't feel earned to me in many ways. But I think again, it's such a popular show. It's such a controversial show, but I think that doesn't mean that it doesn't get nominated. I mean, one of the most controversial seasons of all time, Game of Thrones season 8, won this
Yeah.
category.
People
So
watched it. That's what's important.
people watched it. And I think that it's so different from the other shows that despite a lot of my problems with like how unrealistic it is, though it tries to say that this is what real life is,
Yeah.
I've been in drama club programs. There's nothing like that play.
That's an expensive play. Lexi, I don't know where you got that
So
budget,
funny.
but
But again, I think it's such a conversation starter, and it does have a look that not many other shows do. I think the A20.
technically it's really well done.
Yeah. So
The issue is the writing, in my opinion. I think the acting is very good. I think the
issue is
directing for the
Sam
most part.
Levinson.
Yeah.
Did you
You
hear that?
need to come to set with like call sheets and like an idea of what you're
Oh
going to
my
do.
God! Shot list.
Yeah.
Bring a shot list.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I've been on sets. If you don't have a shot list, it's literally driving a car. It's Thelma and Louise. You are driving your car off a cliff if you don't have a
Yeah.
shot list. I don't know how that crew worked with him.
They did pretty well considering that. But yeah,
Imagine what it would be with a shot list.
I know. Insane.
So yeah, I think Succession, Severance, Squid Game. It's if you're
Yeah.
a show with an S, it's better than if
Yeah.
you're a show with a yellow, because that's not always guaranteed.
Yeah. Only one of them. I really thought Yellowstone was stronger than Yellow Jackets, to be honest. Because that's another case where people are watching it, but maybe not people within the Emmy Academy. Maybe that's more of the middle of the country.
Well, I think
Rather
what's
than the
interesting, like
coasters.
if you think about it, we were kind of predicting Yellowstone because it was filling a certain niche, but I'm not sure that niche are the people that are voting for the Emmys.
Yeah.
Like it feels like Yellowstone pops because it's not that type of coastal show that does well in Hollywood and New York, but those are the people that are majority voting for these awards. So like, I kind of get it. And also when you look at this list, like, even though I had issues with Euphoria, like this seems like the list. So
It
I don't
seems
know.
like a good list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Euphoria, drama actress, we've got Zendaya from Euphoria, Lauren Linney, Ozark, Melanie Linsky, Yellow Jackets, Jodie Comer, and Sandra Oh for Killing Eve, which shocked me, and Reese Witherspoon instead of Jennifer Aniston for the morning show. I have heard.
That was shocking to me.
I did hear that she gets more to do this season than Jennifer Aniston did, but I didn't expect it.
See, this is what's fascinating about the morning show this season is that Reese Witherspoon, okay, her character kind of comes out as she's very, I think she was good in this season. There were some moments when I felt like I call it Ansel Elgorting in West Side Story when
Oh,
he finds out that Maria died, and we get that look on his face, like, and
oh
I'm like,
God.
can we get a second take here? There's some
Yeah.
moments in like the beginning of the season where I'm like, Reese, can we try that one more time, please? That yell, that
Hmm.
point at Jennifer. Um, but I do think that how her arc, she was dealing with her brother and her family. She claimed a lot more independence because I think they really let Jennifer go off on her own. Um,
Hmm.
but I really am surprised that then she benefits from that. Maybe it could be that I remember, was it last year or a couple of years ago when she had like the morning show and like Little Fires Everywhere and she didn't get nominated. And
That's
so
possible.
maybe people felt like, okay, well, this year we're going to nominate you. Because I'm not sure she was nominated for the first season of the morning shows, and Jennifer was. So maybe they swapped. But I'm just surprised because I think Jennifer had more time alone, especially
I think she was nominated, but I forget. I do
Reese
not remember.
Witherspoon or Jennifer.
Yeah. I think
I
both were, but I'm not sure.
I think they both were for like the Golden Globes. I don't think for the Emmys.
Oh, maybe. Maybe I'm confusing with something
I'll
else. Yeah.
check because I remember there was this whole thing about Reese Witherspoon not getting nominated, even though all of her shows did.
Hmm.
Maybe it was the year of Big Little Lies and Little Fires Everywhere. Maybe that's what I'm
Maybe. Maybe.
misconstruing. But I think, there were so many great moments with Jennifer Aniston this season with her and Steve Carell, a whole episode where just the two of them. And I found that riveting. I do think how her season ends with, spoiler alert, sorry, five, four,
It's
three,
okay.
two,
I
one.
don't think I'm gonna watch it.
Just making sure. Just making sure. She gets COVID in the final episode. And I
Oh
think
yeah, I heard about that.
that definitely rubbed me the wrong way for such like it's like the morning show is a type of show. I don't know. It feels to me that I grabbed cookie dough ice cream, the whole tub, and just ate it out when I watched that show. Like
Yeah.
it's not I know it thinks it's a serious show, but it's similar to Euphoria, but I think Euphoria jumps way farther in the deep end than the morning show does. But they're both like, we're serious, we're the real life, but you're not really.
Mhm.
Very rarely do I think you touch real reality. But I think that last episode was just so, again, uncomfortable in a way that doesn't feel earned, that maybe that's why Jennifer doesn't get the nomination and Reese Witherspoon does.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's surprising. I'm not going to look up whether Reese Witherspoon did get nominated for the first season.
Yeah. The other surprise here, Killing Eve. I didn't think either of them were going to get in. Both still got in, especially for what was said to be a disappointing final season. Maybe it's because it's a final season, but I do think I think this is a little bit of like Emmy habits. Like, oh, they've gotten in the past season, even if they haven't seen it. Like, oh, I'll put them in there. Um,
I just don't
but
think people blame the actors for that, and maybe they felt bad for
yeah,
the actors.
true.
I mean, the other thing too is I believe, did Sandra Oh ever win for this show? I know Judy Comer did because she took out Amelia Clark for getting
Andrew
drunk.
has one for something. I think it was for this show.
I think it was for this. I think they both won for the show.
Jodie
So
Comer has, yeah.
you've both won for this show. It's in its final season. It kind
Hmm.
of like, I feel like we maybe were taking the unpopular opinion of the show to heart when, like, again, you're not going to blame the actors. It's why Rami Malek wins, even though Bohemian Rhapsody was like a behind the scenes mess. Like,
Yeah.
maybe they get sympathy because of that. But it is interesting that for one of the final seasons here that was more unpopular, they somehow benefit from that final
Yeah.
season. It's
And
interesting.
somehow Britt Lauer, who was the show overperformed, and my favorite performance on the show, doesn't get in there.
We know
That's
why, because she's not a name.
She's not famous.
Yes.
I know she
Will
should
be.
be. She should be,
Will be.
but
But
she was the best on that show, and she deserves it next season. But I was really
good for
really
Melanie
sad for her.
Lynskey, though. I was so
Yeah, I'm
happy.
happy for her. Yeah, yeah.
And to clarify, she was not nominated
She was
for
not okay.
Season 1. So this could have been like a
Okay.
makeup.
Makeup. Yeah, yeah. But the only people who I think are in contention for winning here really are these top two, Zendaya and Laura Linney. Um, Euphoria did overperform a little bit here, so I do think there might be. I think it's even here. I think I'm gonna lean Laura Linney, but I do think Zendaya has, especially since I like her work in the second season more. I think she has just as good of a shot too.
Yeah, I'm interested to see whether Zendaya's Season 1 win was she was fantastic or it was such a surprise. Like, I think, listen,
Hmm.
she was good no matter what, but if the reason she won was a result of just being shocked by her, like, this is the Disney Channel kid delivering like this very powerful performance,
Yeah,
or if it's that they felt that she was the best performance in the category, surprise not included. Because I think when it comes down to it, like, she might have wore off by this time and now it's fine. Because I swear to God, if Laura Linney doesn't end Ozark with an Emmy,
hmm
meanwhile Jason Bateman and Julia Garner have, Like, come on. Like, Laura Linney is the show. She's the reason.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Julia Garner is like the breakout, and she definitely is the show too. But I mean, it's the three of them. It's Selena Gomez all over again. It's like, come
Mhm.
on. Like, we got to honor all three. I know Laura Linney has won before, but not for this show, and she
Yeah.
needs to. Also, Emmys. Don't Tom Pelphrey and best guest actor in a drama
Yeah.
series. Don't you?
Try to
No,
make
no,
up
no, no,
for it.
no. That's not a makeup you can make up for. He should have won that category.
No, he's
Um,
not going to win this time either.
yeah, no, I was like, it's like rubbing salt in a wound. No, thank you. Speaking of Ozark, best actor in a drama series.
Yes. Also, quick shout out. Also, Mandy Moore. Many expected her for This Is Us, the final season, to get in there.
Yeah.
Sadly, did not happen. But
What's network television? I forgot what it was.
yeah, it just doesn't exist anymore unless you're Abbott Elementary.
Yeah, but again, I think people are watching that on Hulu. I don't think they're
I
watching.
think so too. Yeah, I think so too. Drama actor. This one, as I expected, I went 6 for 6 here. Brian Cox for Succession, Jeremy Strong Succession, Lee Jung Jae Squid Game, Jason Bateman Ozark, Bob Odenkirk Better Call Saul, and Adam Scott for Severance. Thank
Good for
God he
him.
got in. Yeah,
I think it's one of the more open categories too for a
win
win.
wise. Yeah,
Yeah, I could see
Very
Bateman
open.
winning. I could see Cox winning. I could see like Jung Jae winning.
Mhm.
I could see Jeremy Strong winning. I think the other two, I think they're more like this isn't the season to give them the win if we're going
Yeah.
to. Bob Odenkirk is for next season for the final, and Adam Scott will
He's
have
got
time.
seasons to go.
I think getting in was the win there. But
Yeah.
good for him. Good for
I think this is
Severance.
his first Emmy nomination ever, which is crazy.
Good for him.
Yeah. Win wise, yeah, I do think it's between. I don't think Bateman really has as much of a shot as those other three. I think, yeah, I don't know who to pick there. I do think Succession could vote split. I think if one of the Succession guys wins, I would go Cox over Strong. But yeah, I think it's definitely between those three. Right now, I would say Brian Cox for Succession, just because Succession did very well. Nomination.
I'm gonna lean Lee Jung Jae though. I think they're gonna want to give Squid Game something, and I don't see it
Yeah,
happening
true.
elsewhere. So I'm gonna go Lee Jung Jae, and we get a repeat of the SAG because he's up against a lot of the same people. So
He is. Yeah, he is. Drama supporting actress. We've got Julia Garner, Ozark, Sarah Snook, Succession, Rhea Seehorn finally getting her first nomination for Better Call Saul.
good for her. I don't watch
Yes.
Better Call Saul, but just
I don't
because of
either.
how many people, like a lot of the fans of the show were supporting her, and they really wanted her to get a nomination. And
Yeah.
at that point, I just believed them that she's. I mean, of course she's great. I mean, for a show like this, everybody's great. When she came out, I was like, "Oh, good for her." It was like,
Good for her.
like it was. I was very happy for her and all
Yeah.
of her fans.
I agree. Then we got Joho Young for Squid Game, Patricia Arquette for Severance, Sydney Sweeney for Euphoria, Christina Ricci Yellow Jackets, and J. Smith Cameron for Succession. Yeah. The only thing different I had here was I had Sadie Sink instead of Rhea Seehorn here. I thought Stranger Things was gonna get something in here, but sadly, no.
It's not looked at in that way.
It's an
And
acting.
I
strategy.
always felt that I didn't see a world where Sadie Sink gets in and Millie Bobby Brown doesn't. I don't think that if you're not a fan of the show, I don't think that monologue, which is what you would have been nominated for, means as much to you. I also wonder if there is a little bit of ageism among the nominees.
Probably.
We saw that
Unless
with
I mean Sydney Sweeney.
yeah, but that's not I'm talking about like young kids.
Like
I
young,
mean,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I know Sadie
It's
Sink.
like a 3-year difference there.
Let me see how far age.
I think Sadie Sink is 20 and Sydney Sweeney's 23 is what I'm pretty sure. But I mean, they're made up to look younger on Stranger Things. So
yeah. Okay,
that
Sydney
is-
Sweeney is 24.
Sydney
And
Sweeney's 24. Okay, I thought you said Sadie Sink.
Is 20. So yeah.
4-year gap. Yeah, not
Let
a
me see
huge
what.
gap.
No. So like because her Sydney Sweeney's birthday hasn't happened yet. Sadie Sink's has.
Okay.
She'll be 25 in September. So I don't know. I feel like because she's playing a kid role though. I think Sydney Sweeney is playing. That's
It's
again
more
my
adult.
issue. My issue with Euphoria is they're teens, but they're not. I don't know. Maybe there are teens' lives that was not my teenage life.
No.
As
No.
proof that I'm doing an Emmys breakdown on YouTube.
You're okay to go do some drugs after this?
Yeah, no.
No.
But maybe that I just feel like with Jacob Tremblay in Room.
Oh,
We good?
yeah. I don't know what
Since you
happened
wanted to
there.
mute me.
Oh,
I feel like with I don't know, when kids are playing kids, I feel like maybe people don't take those performances as seriously, because
Yeah.
she was great. And I thought, especially, but again, this could also contribute to the fact that volume one is in contention, not volume two, because I think overall her arc this season was great because it showed the complexities of the different reactions. Like, I almost feel that you need episode 9 in conjunction with episode 4, because you really
Yeah,
can't have them independent. So I don't
that's
know.
true.
I also think that speaks to, because Stranger Things structures it like a movie, and that's very unique. They maybe don't know what to do with it when it comes to
Mhm.
like, they'll nominate it in drama series and then that's it, because they don't really have like, they like, how does Sadie Sink stand apart in such a massive ensemble in such a massive episode? You know, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I think this speaks more to the how they vote rather than is she worthy or not, because she definitely is. But all of
Yeah.
these other performances just feel more traditional for the Emmys. I was
Yeah.
very happy to see J. Smith Cameron. I think what a trajectory that actor has had throughout the run of the show. Sydney Sweeney, I think, is the best person on Euphoria. I think she's so needed.
After Zendaya. Yes.
Um, I mean, for me, I Sydney Sweeney. Whenever she was on screen, I just found her, like, the bathroom scene when they're all going back and
She's
forth.
very good. Yeah.
I don't know. I love Zendaya, and I think she's incredibly talented. But with Sydney Sweeney, there's a level of unpredictability that I really appreciate. Where I think
Yeah.
Zendaya's character, like, I know what they're doing with her, and I'm never surprised with where her character is going. Sydney Sweeney, I think, again, creates a unique character, and I'm very happy to see her here. And yeah, this is, I think,
Yeah.
between. Do you think it's between Julia Garner and Sarah Snook? Because that's
I think so. I think so. Yeah. I
what
I
do you
think
think?
probably Julia Garner, but Sarah Snook could get it. I would say Julia Garner right now, though.
She's more recent, which I
Two
think
for
helps.
two or three for
Also,
three.
she's 2 for 3.
Two for three.
Um, but the first season wasn't as, like, well beloved as
Yeah,
I think the show became. Um, and yeah, so I think Garner might take it one last time.
I think so. Unless I don't think she's going to vote split with her limited series stuff. I don't think
Yeah,
so.
no, no, no. I think that the limited series is boosting that they really love her.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like it's like when Olivia Colman gets like 2 nominations in like one day or something.
Yeah,
I'm sure
as
that's
she
happened.
does.
I'm sure that's happened once.
Who doesn't like Olivia
I love that
Colman?
I just made that up. Maybe she didn't, and I just assumed that Olivia Colman did, but that seems like something she would do.
Well, she deserves it.
Yeah. I'm sure there was a time when she had a movie and a show. Like, wasn't The Crown and The Father the same year at the Golden Globes?
They
Maybe?
were. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Okay. So yeah, I think that's what'll happen. Inventing Anna bolsters her chance here. And I also like, she's just fantastic, and she's really, really
She
great.
is.
And especially this season, she has the best yell in like filmic history.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm interested to see what episode they submit her for. I would submit her for the first episode of part 2, when she's contemplating killing the guy who killed somebody close to her. I will not say who if you haven't caught up on Ozark. But yeah, very interesting
Yeah.
category. Very happy to see. No, again, besides I think our Stranger Things actresses, I don't think there were any other locks. Snub. I don't like saying snubs, but any
Yeah.
other missed opportunities. And also good for Christina Ricci. Great to see her come back.
And Patty Arquette.
Yeah,
She's
Patricia.
really
Patty
good in
Arquette.
that show.
Patricia, she had Escape at Dannemora. She's
Yeah, she's
maintained
beloved.
since boyhood.
Yeah. And then quickly, we got supporting actor here, where we got Matthew McFadden, Succession, Kieran Culkin, Succession, Billy Crudup, The Morning Show, Oh Young-soo, Squid Game, John Turturro, Severance, Christopher Walken, Severance, Park Hae-seo, Squid Game, and Nicholas Braun, Succession. Nice surprises here, including I was really happy that Severance overperformed and got Christopher Walken in, as well as John Turturro, and also I was happy that Park Hae-seo got in along with Oh Young-soo for Squid Game, because I think he is just as strong and important to the show as Oh Young-soo is. Then you got the Succession guys and Billy Crudup.
Yeah. Billy Crudup, of course, won here the last time, but I don't think that will repeat.
No.
I would love for it to be Matthew McFadden, but I think it's going to be Kieran Culkin.
Yeah.
I think there's just so much love for him.
Yeah. They're tied right now in the odds for number 1.
Yeah.
So it's between those two, I would say. I would lean Kieran Culkin.
But see here, this thing, I think Matthew McFadden is going to have a stellar season 4.
He's going to have a next season. Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely
Where they leave it.
that one. So we'll see. I think this might be the time to honor Kieran Culkin and the look he gives his father when he sends his father his own dick pic. I think that's
Yeah.
if that's not the episode you submit, I don't know what you're doing.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
So
yeah,
yeah,
I would agree. And
that's
then
everything.
yeah,
Right?
directing, it's just worth noting. Stranger Things didn't get anything, sadly.
What?
I
It's
know.
ridiculous.
No, Dear Billy. But I think Severance should probably win directing, in my opinion, for Ben Stiller for the finale.
Yeah, definitely.
We shall see. We can cover that in
Did he
another
direct
week. We've got
all of the episodes?
time. Some of them, not all of them. He directed
Gotcha.
the finale though.
Okay. Because I'm interested, like, if they just nominate like one director for the whole thing, or they will still isolate an episode. If it's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. But we can cover that. We've got weeks to go.
We got a lot of time.
But comment your thoughts down below, everyone. Like, subscribe. Where can they find you, Anthony?
At Anthony_post on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, and Spoilers Ahead with Anthony Post on YouTube.
Awesome. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.